In Greek mythology, Proteus is an early sea god or god of rivers and oceanic bodies of water, one of several deities whom Homer calls the Old Man of the Sea. Some who ascribe to him a specific domain call him the god of elusive sea change, which suggests the constantly changing nature of the sea or the liquid quality of water in general. He can foretell the future, but, in a mytheme familiar to several cultures, will change his shape to avoid having to. He will answer only to someone who is capable of capturing him. From this feature of Proteus comes the adjective Protean, with the general meaning of versatile, mutable, capable of assuming many forms. Protean has positive connotations of flexibility, versatility and adaptability. Etymology: Proteus name suggests the first, as protokenos as the primordial, or the firstborn. It is not certain to what this refers, but in myths where he is the son of Poseidon, it possibly refers to his being Poseidon's eldest son, older than Poseidon's other son, the sea god Triton. The first attestation of the name, although it is not certain whether it refers to the god or just a person, is in Mycenaean Greek. The attested form, in Linear B, is th ℏ in Greek mythology. According to Homer, the sandy island of Pharos situated off the coast of the Nile Delta was the home of Proteus, the oracular old man of the sea and herdsman of the sea beasts. In the Odyssey, Menelaus relates to Telemachus that he had been becalmed here on his journey home from the Trojan War. He learned from Proteus' daughter, Eidothea, that if he could capture her father he could force him to reveal which of the gods he had offended, and how he could propitiate them and return home. Proteus emerged from the sea to sleep among his colony of seals, but Menelaus was successful in holding him, though Proteus took the forms of a lion, a serpent, a leopard, a pig, even of water or a tree. Proteus then answered truthfully, further informing Menelaus that his brother Agamemnon had been murdered on his return home, that Ajax the Lesser had been shipwrecked and killed, and that Odysseus was stranded on Calypso's Alogygia. According to Virgil in the 4th Georgic, at one time the bees of Aristaeus, son of Apollo, all died of a disease. Aristaeus went to his mother, Cyrene, for help. She told him that Proteus could tell him how to prevent another such disaster, but would do so only if compelled. Aristaeus had to seize Proteus and hold him, no matter what he would change into. Aristaeus did so, and Proteus eventually gave up and told him that it was a punishment for causing the death of Eurydice. To make amends he must sacrifice 12 animals to the gods, leave the corpses in the place of sacrifice, and return 3 days later. When Aristaeus returned after the 3 days he found in one of the carcasses a swarm of bees, which he took to his apiary. The bees were never again troubled by disease. The children of Proteus, besides Eidothea, include Polygonus and Telegonus, who both challenged Heracles at the behest of Hera and were killed, one of Heracles' many successful encounters with representatives of the pre-Olympian world order. Another Proteus occurs in Greek myth as one of the 50 sons of King Aegyptus. Proteus of Egypt. In the Odyssey Menelaus wrestles with Proteus of Egypt, the immortal old man of the sea who never lies, who sounds the deep in all its depths, Poseidon's servant. Proteus of Egypt is mentioned in an alternate version of the story of Helen of Troy in the tragedy Helen of Euripides. The often unconventional playwright introduces a real Helen and a phantom Helen, and gives a backstory that makes the father of his character Theoclymenus, Proteus, a king in Egypt who had been wed to a Nereid Psamathe. In keeping with one of his themes in Helen, Euripides mentions in passing Edo, another unseen daughter of the king. The play's king is only marginally related to the Old Man of the Sea, and should not be confused with the sea god Proteus. At Pharos in Hellenistic times the site of the lighthouse of Alexandria were indivisible, a king of Egypt named Proteus welcomed Dionysus and the young god's wanderings. In Alchemy and Psychology, the German mystical alchemist Heinrich Unrath wrote of the shape-changing sea god who, because of his relationship to the sea, is both a symbol of the unconscious as well as the perfection of the art. Alluding to the scintilla, the spark from the light of Naturia unregistered trademark and symbol of the anima mundi, Cunrath in Gnostic vein stated of the Protean element Mercury. Our Catholic Mercury, by virtue of his universal fiery spark of the light of nature, is beyond doubt Proteus, the sea god of the ancient pagan sages, who have the key to the sea and power over all things. In modern times, the Swiss psychologist Carl Jung defined the mythological figure of Proteus as a personification of the unconscious, who, because of his gift of prophecy and shape-changing, has much in common with the central but elusive figure of alchemy, Mercurius. In literature, the poet John Milton, aware of the association of Proteus with the hermetic art of alchemy, wrote in Paradise Lost of alchemists who sought the philosopher's stone. In vain, though by their powerful art they bind, volatile Hermes, and call up and bound, in various shapes old Proteus from the sea, drain out through alembic to his native form. John Milton, Paradise Lost, 3603 06. In his 1658 discourse The Garden of Cyrus, Sir Thomas Browne, pursuing the figure of the quincunx, queried, "Why Proteus in Homer the symbol of the first matter, before he settled himself in the midst of his sea monsters, doth place them out by fives?" Shakespeare uses the image of Proteus to establish the character of his great royal villain Richard III in the play Henry VI, Part 3, in which the future usurper boasts, "I can add colors to the chameleon, change shapes with Proteus for advantages, and set the murderous Machiavel to school. Can I do this, and cannot get a crown? Tut, were it farther off, I'll pluck it down." William Shakespeare, Henry VI, Part 3, Act 3, Scene E. Shakespeare also names one of the main characters of his play The Two Gentlemen of Verona Proteus. Inconsistent with his affections, his deceptions have unraveled at the finale of the play as he is brought face to face with his friend Valentine and original love Julia. "O heaven, were man, but constant, he were perfect, that one error, fills him with faults. Makes him run through all sins, inconstancy falls off, ere it begins." In 1807, William Wordsworth finished his sonnet on the theme of a modernity deadened to nature, which opens "The world is too much with us," with a sense of nostalgia for the lost richness of a world numinous with deities. I'd rather be, a pagan suckled in a creed outworn. So might I, standing on this pleasant lea, have glimpses that would make me less forlorn. Have sight of Proteus rising from the sea. Or hear old Triton blow his wreathed horn. Proteus is the name of the submarine in the original story by Otto Clement and J. Louis Bixby, which became the basis for the 1966 film Fantastic Voyage and Isaac Asimov's novelization. John Barth's novelette Menelaid in Lost in the Funhouse is built around a battle between Proteus and Menelaus. It is told as a multiply-nested frame tale, and the narrators bleed into each other as the battle undermines their identities. The alien character of Prot in the book trilogy by Gene Brewer and played by Kevin Spacey in the movie K-Pax, like Proteus was said to embody, was a modernized shapeshifter, and magical type of advanced mystical ET who walked into humanoid bodies, and shared wisdom and insights into the human condition. The crew of the Jupiter 2 in the 1998 film Lost in Space encounter and board a derelict space station named the Proteus. In the Harry Potter series, Hermione Granger casts a Protean charm on galleons to inform members of Dumbledore's army of meetings. When she changes the properties of the original coin, the amendments are reflected on those she has given to other people to display the date. See also, USS Proteus, Proteus in popular culture, notes. References, Carl Carini, The Gods of the Greeks, Robert Graves, The Greek Myths e Prior, Agar Copyrightography Symbolique des Errances de Proto Copyright et un mythesari lecture politique la unregistered trademark a copyright Pokempa copyright Ryaria, in a Rollet, Proto copyright en Trompe l'Angstromile. Genus A Survivances d'un mythe, Maria Bauer Chardon, PA 139-164. A Scuteri, Il Paradiso di Proteo. Storia di una rappresentazione culturale da Omero el Postumano, Carocci, Calana Lingui Literature N 147, Roma, 2012. ISBN 9788843067190, The Mythology of All Races, Volume 1, Greek and Roma, William Sherwood Fox, Ph.D., Princeton University. External links, media related to Proteus at Wikimedia Commons.